and welcome to my new video. Today I'm going to be doing something kind of exciting but also kind of intimidating, and I'm going to be doing my first book unhaul. I'm one of those people who unhauls books all the time. If I don't like a book, if I don't think that I'm ever going to read it, I want it out of my life. I'm a huge declutterer. I hate having clutter. You wouldn't tell because my background this whole time has been so messy, but it's because I'm moving, okay? As soon as I move, I am gonna have a beautiful background with gorgeous bookshelves and lights, and I'll be a professional booktuber. But right now, you get kind of a messy bookshelf because I am sitting on the floor. Anyway, so I'm doing the book unhaul. I hope I don't offend anyone by getting rid of your favorite book. I'm so sorry. Some of these I've read, some of these I have DNF'd, and some I haven't read and have just owned forever and know I'm never gonna read. So I've kind of divided them into little categories, kind of. I have a mess around me. Okay, let's just get into it and I'll show you what I'm unhauling. Like I said, I'm moving, so that's why I'm kind of trying to do a big book purge now, because I don't want to move books that I have no interest in ever reading or rereading or not wanting to keep. I just want to do a big old declutter so that my move is as unstressful as possible. So let's get started with the first couple of books. These first ones I'm getting rid of are two John Irving books. I bought these a very long time ago at a used book sale. I think they were only a couple dollars each, and I bought them because I read Cider House Rules by him and I really enjoyed that book, but I have never gravitated toward these. I don't want to pick them up. I'm just now looking at this and realizing that there's dogs on the cover, and that's very cute but also concerning because I'm always so nervous to read books about dogs because I don't want the dogs to die. Anyway, beside the point, I have Avenue of Mysteries and Until I Find You. I have no idea what either of these are about. I bought them because of the author. I do have one more that I bought in one person that I think I'm gonna keep, maybe, possibly. I think that has some bisexual representation, which is why I decided to keep that one, but we'll see. If I don't end up reading it, then it will be unhauled as well. The next ones are by a popular author. I don't know. I feel like a lot of people are unhauling her books lately though, and that is Rainbow Rowell. I'm getting rid of Landline, Eleanor and Park, and Attachments. I've read these two. I liked Attachments when I first read it, but I don't think I would like it now. Just the whole premise is very weird to me as an adult. I don't think it's cute, the fact that he falls in love with this girl by like reading her emails. Like, I'm good. This I don't think aged very well. I honestly never liked Eleanor and Park. I don't know why I still have it. And it's been getting a lot of controversy lately for racist content, which is awful, and I don't want this in my life. It's not even a good book. Honestly, I found it so incredibly boring. And then I'm also getting rid of Landline. I haven't read this one. It doesn't really interest me. Anyway, the concept seems a little boring to me, and I'm just not interested in really reading any of those. And again, the only Rainbow Rowell book I'm keeping is Fangirl, because I do love Fangirl and I'm always gonna love Fangirl. I just don't really want to support the author. Next we have something a little bit random, and those are a bunch of Babysitter Club books. I went through a phase where I wanted to like collect all of them, especially the ones that I had read as a kid. These are covered in cat hair. Story of my life. But these are in like awful condition. They're ripped up. I got them from the thrift store, and they're just like random numbers, 25, 13, 10, 8. Like, I don't need these. I have like a beautiful, let me show you. I have this beautiful collector's tin of the first 6 books, which is really all I need. I don't need to collect all of them. I don't have space in my life, and if I want to read them, I can get them online, but This is a gorgeous, gorgeous little collector's tin, so I'm very glad I own this. On the topic of problematic authors, also getting rid of these two books. This is Very Good Lives by J.K. Rowling and The Cursed Child, both of which I don't think should exist. So this is literally like a speech that J.K. Rowling did that she published, illustrated. What is the cover price on this? $16 for this tiny book that is a speech that you can watch online. And it kind of bothers me because J.K. Rowling is so prone to money grabs like this. She publishes screenplays, and like the Fantastic Beasts screenplay that exists like genuinely makes me upset. That should not exist. Anyway, we just don't like J.K. Rowling. We don't support her. We don't appreciate her Twitter. Just no. Anyway. The Cursed Child, also wish this didn't exist. I didn't read it, but I know enough of what happens to know that I don't want to read it. So we can get rid of it. I am, of course, keeping my Harry Potter books. I hate the author, but what's great about those is they have no author. Right? Right? Harry Potter is just such a big part of my childhood, as it was for a lot of people. And I went back and forth for a while about whether I should keep them or get rid of them, but it is such like a big part of me, and I love those books forever, and I'm not supporting her with my money, so I'm gonna continue to keep and love and reread those books. I just don't really want anything else that she's gonna put out. Okay, next we have a series that I'm getting rid of that I haven't read, and that is the Shiver series by Maggie Stiefvater. I love Maggie Stiefvater so much. I love The Raven Cycle, Call Down the Hawk, The Scorpio Races, some of my favorite books of all time, but I don't need to own and read everything she writes. Like, this is like a paranormal romance, I think, about werewolves, and I just don't think this is my cup of tea. I'm never gonna read these. I don't, like, just because I love an author doesn't mean that I need to read everything they write. I will continue to read her newer stuff and the ones with plots that interest me, but these do not bring me joy, so they're gonna go. So next we have some celebrity memoirs, which just are not my cup of tea. I love a good memoir, but I don't really like ones that are about like, this is how I became an actor, and this is how I got my start, and this is what it was like filming this TV show. I'm just not interested. So I've got two of Mindy Kaling's books. I think these are her only two actually, but Is Everyone Hanging Out Without Me and Other Concerns. I read this one and really liked it when I read it. I do still love Mindy Kaling, by the way. But I don't think I'm ever going to reread it. And then Why Not Me, Why Not Me, I DNF'd this. I read about half. I got very, very bored. I didn't think it was as good as her first one, and I think I just don't care anymore. But I do still love Mindy Kaling, obviously, of course, but I just don't think I'm interested in this type of book. Then we have Talking as Fast as I Can by Lauren Graham. I got this for Christmas a few years ago because I was really into Gilmore Girls, and I do still love that show, but I don't think I am interested in really anything in this book. I know she talks about the other TV show she's in a lot too, and I've never seen that, so I don't think this is for me. And the last one is Girl Boss by Sophia Amoruso. She is the creator of Nasty Gal. I don't know, I'm good. I really liked the TV show Girl Boss that was based on her life, and I was pretty sad when it got canceled actually, but yeah, I'm okay. I feel like I need to give explanations for everything, but some I'm just not interested in anymore. Okay, the rest of the, I don't really have categories for the rest of them. It's just kind of random from here on out, but next I'm getting rid of This Side of This Side of Paradise by F. Scott Fitzgerald. I went through a phase where like every time I saw a classic for like a good price at a thrift store or a yard sale or something, I would pick it up. But I don't want to read every single classic that exists, and this isn't one that interests me. I only want to read the ones that do interest me. I do really like classics, but I don't need every single one. So I'm going to pass this along. Then I have Greek Tragedies Volume 1 by by a bunch of people. This is just what it says, Greek tragedies, Greek plays, which I love. I am obsessed with Greek mythology. I have been ever since I was a little tiny baby, but this is just a book that doesn't do it for me. What's really interesting about this though is I got it at a used book sale, and it is like fully annotated by someone else. Wait, I just saw a good page. Like fully, oh, I don't think you can see that because it's too bright, and this isn't my camera, and I don't know how to adjust that. So anyway, it is fully annotated, take my word for it, which I think is really cool, but not reason enough to keep it because I'm never going to read it. So someone else can think that's cool. Then we have Everything is Illuminated by Jonathan Safran Foer, which is a very well-known book about World War II, I believe, but I have owned this for probably 10 years and I've never picked it up. So I think it's time to say goodbye to this. I've never gravitated toward it, maybe sometime in the future, but today is not that day. I just used to have a really bad habit, and I still kind of have a bad habit, of just buying like any book that looked familiar if I was at like a thrift store or a book sale or something. So a lot of these books I'm just like, I have no interest in, and I bought them because I recognized the title and they were $1. So that's what happens a lot. Same with like Book Outlet. I used to place huge orders of like every book that I saw my favorite booktubers reading, and it's just time to get rid of the ones that I'm not interested in. So we have Go Ask Alice by Anonymous. Like I don't know. I'm good. This one's kind of random, but this is the Campfire Collection, Ghosts, Beasts, and Things That Go Bump in the Night, edited by Kit Duane. This is just like a little collection of scary stories, which is kind of cool, but I've never once flipped through this, and once again, I've owned this for probably 10 years. So I think I'm good. I also used to really like horror a lot more than I do now. I think I've kind of like, my tastes have changed a bit, and I'm a little bit more of a scaredy cat than I used to be, so not really my thing anymore. The next one is The Spectacular Now by Tim Tharp. This was once again the case of, oh, I saw that movie, I liked that movie, let's buy the book, and never read it. I didn't even, like, looking back, that's not even that great of a movie. Like, it was pretty boring, Caucasian, like, I feel like I've seen 10 movies that were exactly the same. Another one that I have read but don't plan on rereading is To All the Boys I've Loved Before by Jenny Han. I read this around the time it first came out, and I never continued with the series. I liked it when I read it, and I absolutely loved the first movie. The second one, not so much, but I loved the first one. I just don't think... Oh, lovely, the dust jacket's on upside down. I just don't think I have any interest in continuing or giving this a reread. So I'm gonna pass that on. I'm sure someone will be very excited to get their hands on that. Oh, this one's random. This is my old original copy of Breaking Dawn, which is missing a dust jacket. When I was at a used book sale pretty recently, I saw a like copy in really good condition that did have the dust jacket. So I picked it up for like $2 because it always bugged me to look at my shelf and have all the books with dust jackets except for Breaking Dawn. So I just figured I would replace my copy. That's like the cheapest I would ever find it. So I went ahead and did that, and I'm gonna get rid of my old copy. I feel like every time I go to a thrift store or like a used book sale, there's like 8 copies of the entire Twilight series. Like, is that just me, or do you guys notice that as well? Because there's always Twilight books everywhere. Then I have a couple Stephen King books. I have Under the Dome, which literally is hard to hold up. It's so big. This is over 1,000 pages. I've learned recently that I am not a big fan of Stephen King. I've read so many of his books. I have a few more I want to try, but this is definitely not top priority because it's so big and because I don't think I care. I bought this when the show was first coming out because I was really enjoying the show, but you know, I'm good. This book is just so big that I don't think I'll ever get to it, and I'm just not the biggest Stephen King fan, at least of anything I've read so far. And then I have a Stephen King that I do want to read, and that is On Writing, but this is like the worst copy. It's ripped, it's a mass market paperback, and it is just pretty beat up. So I'm gonna get rid of this. I have the ebook actually that I can read, and if I see a nice copy of this somewhere for a good price, then I will pick that one up. And then a book that I read this year, If You Find Me by Emily Murdoch. I randomly picked this up at the beginning of the year after owning it for a very long time. And I liked it. I think I gave this 3 stars. I thought it was interesting. The writing was a little juvenile for me, but it had a very interesting plot. I just don't see myself ever rereading it. Simple as that. Then I have some Rick Riordan books. These are like little collections of novellas. Like we have the Demigod Files, which is just a collection of novellas set in the Percy Jackson universe. We have Demigods and Magicians, which is some novellas that kind of bridge the Percy Jackson series and the Kane Chronicles, which I haven't read the Kane Chronicles, but I own the whole series. So I just don't think I need this. I don't think I'm ever going to get to this. And then this is the Percy Jackson Ultimate Guide, which is so like fancy. It's got trading cards. I haven't looked at this in so long. This is actually really cool. This was like a birthday gift from my friend for like my 12th birthday or something. So I think it is time to let this go. I love Percy Jackson. I will never get rid of my Percy Jackson books, but oh, it's like holographic. Yeah, I just don't need this. The next are a couple of books that I DNF'd. The first is Girl Wash Your Face by Rachel Hollis. A lot of people really like this. It's like a self-help book, but I just think it wasn't for me. I was pretty bored. There wasn't much I was really getting from it, and I do like a good self-help book, but I was bored. There's not much going on, and I thought it talked about like religion a little too much for my liking, but it was, yeah, someone will appreciate seeing this at the thrift store. The next one I DNF'd might be a little bit controversial because I know a lot of people love this and I just cannot wrap my head around why, and that is Gone Girl by Gillian Flynn. Now don't get me wrong, I absolutely love this movie. I think it's amazing. But the book, I started listening to the audiobook and I could not get through it. I know the main characters are supposed to be unlikable, don't get me wrong, and I love a good unlikable character, but the amount of fat shaming in this was so gross. It was so like problematic. It made my skin crawl a little bit. Like I just was not a fan. It was giving me very bad vibes. There was stuff in here that did not need to be in here for the purpose of the story, and I just did not like it, so that can go. The very last little stack I have here I think are kind of just like non-fiction, some little random books. The first is The Little Book of Self-Care for Cancer. This is like a little, like they make these for all of the zodiac signs, and it's just like a bunch of things that you can do for self-care, like make a pot of soup. I hate soup. Drink alkaline water. Choose flowing exercises. Some of them are pretty strange. This was a fun little book to flip through. I got it from Marshall's for like $5, but I don't need this. It's a little bit silly to me. I do really love astrology, but I have some really nice books on astrology and don't need to keep this one. Then I have a couple David Sedaris books. I don't know why I own so many of his books. I own 3. I decided to keep 1, but I might get rid of that one too. While we're at it, I'm just gonna make the executive decision to get rid of When You Were Engulfed in Flames as well. The only reason I was keeping this one is because I bought it full price and it was kind of expensive. But I have owned these for so long and have never wanted to pick them up. I don't know anything about David Sedaris. I don't know why I bought all of his books. So they can go. Then, this one's kind of funny, but The Life-Changing Magic of Tidying Up by Marie Kondo. I'm decluttering a book about decluttering. I liked this a lot. I think I got a lot out of it when I read it. I love the TV show. I think this is great. However, I just feel like all of the information now is online and I feel like I remember like all of the important points from this book, so I just don't think that I need to keep this to kind of like reflect back on it or anything, so I'm gonna pass this along. Then I have the Vagina Monologues by Eve Ensler, which is like a book about literally just loving your vagina and why vaginas are great. This is a fun little book. I read this in high school, and then in uni I did a project on it, and it's great. I like it, but I'm just never going to reread it. It's been on my shelf forever, and I'm just not going to pick it up again, so she can go. And then the last one is this random book on psychology. It's called 30-Second Psychology, the 50 most thought-provoking psychology theories, each explained in half a minute. I'm kind of going back and forth on this one. Like, I might end up keeping it, but I bought it and flipped through it once, and then it sat on my shelf since. But I really love psychology. I actually have my own copy of the DSM-5 that my roommate got me for Christmas, which is really funny. But I love it, and I'm very fascinated with everything to do with psychology. So I do like having books on it. I just don't think that this book is exactly the kind that I want on it. I think there are just other ones that I would prefer to have in my collection. So I think I will pass this one along. But if you see later that I kept it, just don't judge me, okay? That's like the only one that I'm kind of like back and forth on. And I think that's everything that I'm gonna be getting rid of. That's a lot. I'm proud of myself for getting rid of this many books, clearing up space. As you can see, I still have way too many. However, progress. I think I might go through my shelves one more time. I'm gonna donate these in the next couple of days, so I might kind of comb through my shelves, see if there's anything else that I want to get rid of. And yeah, that is everything. Thank you so much for watching. Let me know your thoughts on any of these books. If you think I should keep them, maybe I can be convinced. But yeah, I hope you guys have a lovely rest of your week, and I will talk to you in my next video. Bye!